Have you been noticing a pattern? I've been noticing a pattern, especially with Ubisoft. This is the Assassin's Creed Shadows dev team, and we'll just take a little closer look here. What would you look at that? Do you notice anybody missing here? Comment below if you notice anybody missing here. Kind of an interesting swath of people, and yet we are clearly missing some people. But who might be missing? By the way, if you're playing Where's Waldo, back here next to the support beam, next to the other blue hair, there's the president of Sweet Baby Inc. before she ascended to being the president of Sweet Baby Inc. You're also looking around, you're wondering, why is academia infested with these ideas? You got diversity, equity, and inclusion in the Finnish gaming industry with Tiana Mayohanan. So it's over there in Europe as well, not just here in the US. It's not just some idea relegated to Silicon Valley. It's all the way over in Finland. So you may be asking yourself, what is going on? All this is spreading, and how do they just keep finding more and more and more of these DEI-compliant people? They're making them. Check it out. Applications open soon for Develop at Ubisoft Women in Non-Binary Mentorship Program. Quote, we have an exciting opportunity to create inclusive environments that are truly reflective of our diverse world. Okay? So, yeah, that seems like a bunch of gobbledygook, but what exactly does it mean to get into the mentorship program? What do you need to meet to qualify for this? Well, thankfully, Ubisoft made that abundantly clear for us. So, here we go. Buckle up, get comfortable. This is going to be a long one. So here we have it. The eligibility criteria. To be able to apply for this, okay, you have to identify as a woman or a non-binary individual. Second to that, you have to be not a minor, being 18 years or older. Currently attend or have graduated after spring of 2023, so they're getting them fresh out of college. Have less than 2 years of professional experience in game design or programming in video games. Be legally entitled to work in the country where you are applying. Apply to only one location. Submit an individual entry. Team entries will not be considered. Specific to Toronto, though, must reside in Ontario, and you are currently attending Ontario Regional, whatever OR is, or have graduated from an Ontario post-secondary school no earlier than 2023. As it says right here, the enrollment period begins at the September 16th. My apologies. Got my 24s and my 16s mixed up. As you can see, this is a bit of a brain-frying thing, but they're bringing them in real soon here. Now, you might be wondering, again, like, well, you know, that doesn't really matter. That's not a big deal. But, yeah, it kind of is, because over the years, this past 2 years that this thing has been chugging along, they have attracted more than 1,560 people. 1,560 people have come into this program, okay? And some of the winners have gone on to become permanent employees at Ubisoft. Oh, you don't say. It's just some of them, huh? Only some of them have gone on to be permanent employees. Well, how about that? So, again, you might be wondering, what does this mean for Ubisoft today? What's going on with their initiatives? How are things working out? It's not obvious, okay? So from their point of view, this is what's up. So over the past few months, Annika Grant, Ubisoft's chief people officer, and Raashi Sika, VP of Global Diversity, Inclusion, and Accessibility. Okay, that's different. Okay, that's different. You have a people chief, whatever a people chief is. I'm glad we have a people chief because God forbid we don't have people chiefs. Can you imagine a people chiefless world? I dare not to. So, we also have a diversity, inclusion, and accessibility vice president in this global front to this. These are people, and what their story is that they're touring around the various Ubisoft affiliated, owned, or like Ubisoft sub studios. Like you have Ubisoft Quebec that's doing the Assassin's Creed Shadows game. That kind of stuff. So they're going around the world. They're globetrotting. Women traveling on their work hours. Wow, who would have guessed? But anyway, so they're going around looking at the North American and Asian studios. It's a road show. I bet they're in a car together, just cruising down Route 66, learning all about America while they're doing their video game tours. You bet. You bet that's happening. So these are the two women that are doing this. Now, excuse me, I assume that they identify as women. I don't see pronouns present when they introduced them up earlier here in the paragraph. They did not say anything about they, them, her, she, whatever. Didn't say anything about that. So I don't know. So this doesn't matter. This crap right here doesn't matter. This is what you've seen. So what I want to attract your attention to is that while they're at the local studios, this is what their focus is on. And they say these local studio visits have been an opportunity to discuss what your human resources and diversity, inclusion, and accessibility teams have been focusing on over the last several months. Where have you made the most progress? Now, Miss Sika, perhaps Mrs. Sika, I think it's Sika, says, great question. A lot has been keeping us busy. I'll share a few highlights. So she says, gender equality has been a priority at Ubisoft for a while now, both in terms of increasing the representation of women in the organization and supporting the development of women across different levels of leadership. Thanks to the great work of our talent acquisition teams and the investment of our human resource leadership, women now represent 25% of our team members. 25%, huh? It really makes you wonder who's actually here, right? Like, huh? Is that one a toaster, maybe? You figure out which one I'm talking about. But we'll go back over here to the quote, all right? Just 25% of their teams, by the way. Just 25% of their teams. And they go up from 22% in 2020. Now that, okay, right, sure. All right. You tell yourself that one. A third of all hires over the last year were women. Additionally, we have 42% of women on our executive committee and 45% of women on our board at Ubisoft. Our efforts to better reach out to neurodiverse communities are evolving too. Last year, in partnership with Human Resources, we created a dedicated neurodiversity program. This program is designed to help us recruit and support more neurodiverse talents so that Ubisoft will become the standard for neurodiverse inclusion at work in the coming years. Our global, I don't know what ERG stands for. I don't know. Energy, that's all I got, but that's not right. So you guys let me know down below what you think ERG stands for. European Regional Goofballs? Anyway, their global ERG leads met with our CEO, Yves Guillemot, every quarter. This is a great forum for us to work together on on areas of growth and progress, and for ERGs to share any potential concerns they have directly with Yves, that guy. I look forward to these quarterly meetings and great discussions, the great discussions that happen there. We launched Advancing Inclusion this year, our flagship diversity and inclusion training program for two key cohorts, top leadership and HR leadership. It's an in-depth program with opportunities to learn key concepts, but put theory into practice and learn together from each other. Okay, so you're catching a drift here. You're noticing a pattern that human resources seems to be something that Ubisoft is very, 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 very concerned with, and not so much gameplay, not so much putting out a game that makes sense. Now, again, we're talking about these guys and what they get into, and so we want to bring up that this is also a mentor program. All right, this is what they do. They bring in these people into these success cases, if you will. So they have these different individuals that are already inside of Ubisoft's various subsidiaries or Ubisoft proper, as it says here, Ubisoft Singapore, Ubisoft Quebec. These individuals, Laurent, Stephanie, and Juliette, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Juliette. Yeah, that's a Juliette. But anyway, this is what happens with them, okay? So this is what happens. So 19 Ubisoft studios welcomed 90 mentees, and I can't I know that's a real word, but man, it just annoys me that that's how they decided to call these people. They didn't take them on as interns. They didn't take them on as new hires. They didn't want to call them greenhorns, fresh meat. They didn't want to be any kind of like, I don't know, I guess lived in about it. They didn't want to be brotherly, sisterly, familially about it. It's just, you are the mentee, I am the mentor. This is how it works at Ubisoft. Now, I know that they're not, Dracula, but it's France, so whatever. And what I want to point out, though, is that the mentees that went in here with these fresh perspective and new ideas came out of Ubisoft's Project Rise. This is what Project Rise is all about. Project Rise intends to bring forward these kinds of individuals that are focused on HR. They are focused on representation, not the gameplay itself. So effectively, rather than hiring the consultancy group of Sweet Baby Inc., right? They are now pre-building what Sweet Baby Inc. provides in their consultancy into their new hires. And so now, in order to get preferential placement at Ubisoft, you must be a fresh graduate, meaning you have no real idea how this whole industry works. You've only got your professors that are, again, leading you into thinking that it's just a little bit of coding and a lot of politics. And then you get into this Ubisoft Bootcamp, this DEI Bootcamp, Project Rise, which is intended to place these people not just inside of Ubisoft, but around the industry itself. This is intended to create a factory of DEI compliant and DEI activist workers. So you don't have to bring people in that are going to give you trouble anymore. You're not going to bring people in that are going to end up going on to X and saying, hey, man, there's lots of crazy stuff going on over here. They got a lot of wild ideas about who should have what gender and how bathrooms should work, They don't have that they won't have that anymore. They're slowly wringing that out of their processes at Ubisoft, and we've seen the price of that in what they create. Now, again, you're looking at this like I am from a perspective of like, okay, well, this kind of makes sense that they're going to go and do this in order to reinforce their ideology and try to stretch out this DEI thing for as long as they can. So I want to like bring this into your scope of understanding. DEI is not limited to the United States. It is not even really limited to like entertainment. They push it out in every single direction, in every single facet, as you probably know, from making bread and shoes all the way up to making movies. Even going to the moon now has a certain DEI quota to it in order to get funding from the central bank. So what we're looking at here is these other dev groups that have begun either hiring out of Ubisoft or embracing what Ubisoft has put together. You're looking at Runway here. This is Runway Studios, and they are out of New Zealand. And they introduced to the world Game Dev Fashion Week. This is a whole week where you're busy thinking about what you're going to wear to work instead of making a damn game. Now, again, let's get into what they think about this. This is from the CEO, Zoe Hosbon. I think it's Hobson. Sorry, not husband. It's husband. I'm pretty sure she'd be offended by the word husband. But anyway, so what she is concerned with here, again, not the game. She's the CEO of this whole enterprise. It is not the game that she's interested in. It is increasing visibility on the diverse range of people who work in game development can help encourage more underrepresented people into the industry. Okay, so they go on and explain. I'll get into it, believe me. So here we go. There are other reasons to dress up and connect with other developers participating. First, there's a social element Hobson wants to encourage. Quote, if you see someone wearing something that you love, you can create an opportunity to chat or reach out and form new connections with people. And second, Runway Studios putting its money where its mouth is. Every time someone shares a photo on the hashtag GameDevFashion hashtag, tags Runway Play, which is their X handle over on X.com. The studio will donate to the non-profit Dress for Success. It's a charity organization meant to help women in need of professional networks, attire, and development. Just women, though. Not men. Not men. They can wear t-shirts. And who do we see participating in this, by the way? This is the star photo they want to show, but we've got some more from Runway. This is from their first year of it. This is just last year they started doing this. And they're quite proud of it. They went in and created a whole thread about their developers playing dress up and doing cute photos instead of making a game. And they brought their cat in, or they have cats at the studio that you just interact with. I just want to advise you, by the way, don't wear whatever this is. I think that's a onesie, one of those romper things. Don't do that. Man, we're not built for shorts that short. I just want to let you know, the 70s got it wrong. You remember basketball shorts being way up there on the hip ends? Nuh-uh. Belongs all the way down just above the knee or below. That's the safe place for shorts. That way nothing inappropriate comes out and you don't see how hairy the Mystic Forest is going on there. But anyway, I digress. Here's number 2. Here's year number 2 with these people. And they once again decided to make a thread about it. So this is Rainbow Day for Dev Week. And you can see here that, we are very, very focused on making a game. There's clearly this guy over here that's like, I'm just trying to make a game. Like this. I feel like this is the avatar of our audience here. Let us know down in the comments below if you're feeling this man's energy in the photo here. Where he's just got America socks on. Like he didn't even bother with a rainbow motif. He probably told him his underwear is rainbow. You remember that when you go to school and you find out it's St. Patrick's Day and you're like, crap, my underwear is green. That's why I can't show you. Haha, you can't pinch me. Well, this guy's like, my underwear is rainbow. You can't fire me. I don't know, but I feel this guy's energy and I feel the dog's misery. I don't know. Do you feel the dog's misery? That dog feels like, I just want to eat things and poop on the floor. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you making me wear a life preserver that isn't going to save my life? Yeah, they're drowning in soy and it's not going to help them. But this guy over here, I feel his energy. He's like, I just want to make games. Can we do that for 5 minutes? Just 5. That's all I need is 5 minutes. And he's clearly not getting those 5 minutes. He kind of looks like Kelsey Graham, right? Isn't that the guy from Frasier? Kelsey Grammer? I'm not sure. You have to remind me what the full name of that guy is. He kind of looks like, is he in disguise? Like one of those Project Veritas O'Keefe videos where he's trying to find out what's going on in there just by wearing a pair of glasses and no one recognizes him. I don't know. I'm getting way too into this with these people, but check it out. This is what they do. Rather than making a video game, they run around taking pictures of each other. Gee, I wonder why the gaming industry is just so upside down right now. And I just wonder. It's perplexing to me why we're getting so many things that look like they belong in 2006, not 2024. And thank goodness this fellow remembered to wear his Christmas pajamas. I think those are gambling. Is it gambling Christmas pajamas? You gambling on Christmas, sir? Rolling the dice on whether or not you'll get a kiss underneath the mistletoe? Are you walking? Ah, yes, it's the dice and the mistletoe, PJs. Wherever the dice land, you must kiss. Is that the game you're playing? HR would love to hear about that. And, yeah. And then I feel like this lady really didn't want to do this, You can say what you like about her choice of fashion and the grin she's got and the way she presents herself, but man, I feel like this lady probably did not sign up for Rainbow Day and to be plastered all over social media. Usually when lady folk wear their bangs in their face, they're not people that want to be plastered all over social media, usually, So I kind of feel bad that she showed up to work one day and they were like, yeah, by the way, we're going to put you on blast. Hope you wore your rainbow socks. But I don't know. You've also got the tarot card fashion going on here. I'll remind you, this is a game studio. This isn't a daycare. This isn't an elementary school. This isn't, look, kids, we're so diverse here at Runway High. It's just game devs who otherwise should be spending this week, these days, these hours, coding, designing, drawing, animating, sitting in a boardroom discussing what the hell they're going to do next. Not this. I've heard of burnout. Don't get me wrong. I live in Maine. Game developers, programmers, all sorts of Silicon Valley wackadoos show up here with the sandals and socks on looking for relief. Not far from me, there is a whole like getaway place where corporations send their people to just decompress for a month. There's like it's Windy Meadows, Waving Meadows, and Brooks. You know, I'm doxing myself, but it's a ways off from me, so good luck. You can, in Maine, if you can find me based on that. But anyway, like I keep it a secret. But anyway, in that, I think it's that Whispering Meadows, something with meadows in it. And those people, they go out there and they stay for a month at a time, just out there living in a cabin where all the amenities are provided for them. Someone delivers wood for them. If they don't want to load the wood stove, they have the ones that have a fuel fired furnace for them when they come in the cold months. Excuse me. And in the summertime, there's no air conditioning. They got to hang out at the lake. They got to swim in the river. That kind of stuff where this property inhabits. A retreat, that's the word. It's a retreat, right? You caught me in the comments already, good, but I remembered, all right? You almost got me. But it's a retreat, okay? And that's where they send people like this. Rather than having them take pictures like this in the middle of their work week, send them away to a retreat for a month at the end of the game so they can decompress and scream at trees or something. I don't know what those people do. It could be horrible druid things. I have no idea, but I don't have any interaction with them. All I know is that they come back a little less postal than when they went in. And I assure you, going to work with your dress up on isn't helping de-stress these people. If you don't know, game devs typically are not extroverted individuals. They're not people that tend to like walking around getting noticed. They tend to be introverted individuals that focus on things like art, coding, and other indoor at the desk activities that don't require a lot of one-on-one human interaction, least of all public, group, or like mass exposure kind of activities. You're torturing your employees with this. Go ahead and take pictures like this. Keep them up in the office if you want to. Like when they show up to work wearing a really cool outfit, you take a picture of it, put it up on the wall. Put that like cool outfit of the month competition, right? Whatever. But man, a whole week to just trying to figure out what you're going to wear so that way you don't look like a turbo doofus on X when your boss plasters your face out to the entirety of your followers and whoever else decides to retweet that stuff. Can you imagine like a greater torture for an introvert? Someone who even avoided the yearbook, right? Like that kid, that kid, you may have been that kid in high school, that the only picture in the yearbook they had was the picture they had to take for their school ID. That was it. They'd managed to avoid every other time the yearbook committee showed up to take a picture. Like these are the kids that are like in the back of the group picture where the class is all together, they're the one doing this. That's who's working at game studios, guys. There's nothing wrong with that kind of person, by the way. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to be out in the middle of everything all the time, living a life like a circus creature. I understand that. I get it. Believe me. I make YouTube videos. I get it. But don't do this to people. You know, like, look at this guy. He's like, it's not rainbow. It's the American flag. But whatever, and they made him pose in front of like a Windows XP background. That's really cool. They didn't even size it. You're a tech company and you didn't even resize your damn rainbow wallpapers! Can you believe this? Like, this is a game development company that wasn't even like, zoom in. 16:9 is not a mystery. It's been around for a while. What are you doing with this square background picture with nice big black bars on the side? Just reminding you that you have no clue what you're doing as like a game company. Rule number 1 is get your skyboxes right. Right? Am I wrong? Do you not notice that when you're playing a game when the skybox is just like a PNG and everywhere you look it's like lapsing and parallaxing into itself? Rule number 1 is get your backgrounds right. I don't know. I'm just old school. And apparently this guy is too, because he's just like, get your picture over with. I got stuff to do. For all I know, he could end up being, he's the platform developer. So if platform develop, now that didn't say platformer developer, but I really want to believe that good old Tom here that didn't participate in dress up time. He, I want to say that he's the platformer guy, because I don't know if there's a guy that's going to deliver a competitor to Sonic. It's a guy wearing Converse green laces and red, white, and blue Swedish fish socks. Anyway, that I don't know. He's like the only guy that showed up to actually make a game, in my opinion. I don't know. And then we have Bridget, who's apparently working from home because she knew what was going to happen. So she decided her LinkedIn photo was going to be good enough, and that was that. And okay. Oh boy. All right, you're taking a photo. You know it's going to be plastered all over the internet. What do? You just hop into the bargain bin at Goodwill, right? You just hop into the clearance aisle, right? You just run down that row of stuff with your arms wide open and just walk out the other side with whatever stuck to you. Is that what happened here? Is that what happened, Bridget? Did you deliberately sit down and say, what can I wear that would piss off my boss the most? What combination of clothing would infuriate anyone with a sense of style? Mission accomplished. You wonder where the Concord devs got their inspiration from, right? Where they got the character designs from. Look at this. This is an artist developer that works with Runway. Again, Runway's no giant thing. This is just an example I'm choosing to isolate as a place that fully embraced what Ubisoft is chucking out. And is possibly, I can't confirm it because I don't have a LinkedIn account. I'm one of those people. I don't have a LinkedIn account, forgive me. So I don't want to go and try to break in to look at these people's work history that they've made public. But I'm fairly certain at least one or more of the people that are involved with this group in Runway, if not egging them on, is part of the Ubisoft 1560, as I said earlier, the 1,560 that made it into that program. And the 90 that found their way into Ubisoft are probably over their heads over this, just flipping backwards for the opportunity to take pictures rather than make a game. We'll go down. Like, this guy was like, yeah, I'll just do Joker maxing. I'm going to Joker max. That's what my whole Rainbow Day thing is. I'm going to Joker max. And boy, howdy did he. Like, there's a lot of mixed messages right here on the pins, isn't there? There's a lot of, like, there's an alien pendant? This person, again, like, I don't want to get the channel taken down by misgendering somebody in New Zealand, okay? This person, did they button up just the top? They did. What is this? Why is the top just... Is it a cape? Well, no, they put their arms through it, so it's not a cape. Is it dressed like a crazy hobo day at the Runway offices? And then here's Zoe and Emma. Here's Zoe, the CEO, and Emma, the creative director. And, you know... Do you in your communities have a bar that's run by two women that are over 40? I do in my community. And yeah. This is definitely what it looks like. This is absolutely what it looks like. But we're going to go on. We've still got so much more to cover, guys. I told you this was a long one, so get comfortable. This is the pipeline to hell. You're looking at it. You imagine showing up to work. They're like, we're going to take pictures, not do our jobs today. By the way, they're covering the rainbow, those jerks, and they're not wearing any rainbow either. Made their employees dress up like that, and then they just wear their business casual to work. How nice. And then we have another studio. We have Weta Workshop that's working on Tales of the Shire. So if you were looking forward to Tales of the Shire, I have horrible news for you. So as you're seeing right here, this is the dev team. Now, again, it's not as egregiously stilted as the Assassin's Creed Shadows... I don't know, what is this, a hen party, you'd call it, I guess? I'm not sure what this dev team could be classified as, but... Over here at Weta Studios, there are a couple of gentlemen, but they are doing their very best to fit... Oh, look, the Twin Peaks guy. Look at that. No, really, it looks like the Twin Peaks guy. I don't know his name, but it looks like the Twin... Look at that. It looks like the Twin Peaks guy. Just, like, younger. And less... equally as murderous. But yeah, like that. Wow. Look at that. And it's very kind of them to hunt down, like, an accessible warehouse here. We'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see everybody. It's nice of them to find a warehouse to take this in, like an antique roadshow that wasn't filming at the moment for them just kind of jump in for their quick little. This isn't even like a band photo, right? This isn't even like a band photo. And I don't want to attract attention to this because, it's not really a gentlemanly thing to do. But, madam, if you are going to wear a skirt to a photo shoot, it is advised that you put your hands down in between your thighs when the photo is happening. As you can see with the lady over here on the armrest is pressing down on the lower part of her dress to make sure that it is A, not riding up, and B, that at no angle, unless you're looking up from her Converse, can you see up her dress. However, the lady with the purple hair immediately to her left, our right, you're looking at her panties. You can see them in bright blue illumination if you're looking close enough, and I'm not going to zoom in to show that, as that would not be gentlemanly. But as a lady, please remember that if you are taking a photo and the camera is dead on in front of your knees and you have a skirt on, please remember to clasp your hands and place them between your thighs to crease the dress down into the lens direction of the camera. This way you cannot see up the skirt at the underoos that are staring back at us here. Again, these introverts, they're not used to being on camera a lot, right? And again, that's not bad, but this is what you do to them when you're taking them out of an environment that they didn't want to be center stage in. They deliberately chose to be game devs because it's not hosting G4, because it's not having an entertainment account that has like the O and the F in it, okay? I can't say the word on YouTube now. Apparently you'll get super banned for mentioning that place. But, these are people that chose to be in, the shadows. They enjoy that. They like that motif. They enjoy the ambiance of the ninja. They like the aesthetic of being one with the backdrop and moving through society without creating so much as a ripple. They like that. The watchdogs kind of people that move through the shadows and make things happen, and people out in the light go, whoa, wow. A lot of people that are introverts don't want to be drug out into the spotlight. They don't want to be made into circus animals like this. And again, I'm not trying to make fun of these people, but clearly they wanted to code a game and they're stuck taking a band photo like this. This is something like what Journey or like Dave Grohl's bands would do, or Schlicken Park, the new one with the lady singer, Schlicken Park. This is what they would do. This isn't what a game studio does. A bunch of dudes and a couple of ladies in t-shirts looking up at a camera, some guy standing on top of a ladder taking a picture of everybody in the parking lot. That's how you show who's your game devs. You get a handheld camera and you walk around in a dimly lit room while everybody's playing the game you made, and you introduce everybody even though they're half cast in shadow. That's what you do. You're a game dev. You're not a record label. But look at this. I feel like any minute the Chain is going to start playing, from that band I can't remember the name of. Waylon Jennings is a country music singer. Anyway, this don't do this. Just don't. Just be people and get your job done, right? Do you want a picture of everybody that works at the Folgers Coffee Factory? No. You like your coffee. You want to stick it in the Keurig or the coffee maker, however you do it, the percolator, if you will, and you want your coffee, kind of like how you want your video game. You don't need to know the backstory of everybody who punched a binary line into this. I stress binary. But we'll move on. We've got even more studios. We've got these folks over here at Rocketworks, and they are really focused on making games. You'll notice over here of what's going on, their board here that they've printed out. Okay, they've got what's going on, and it says the 1st to the 29th of February, the Auckland Pride Festival. That has a lot to do with making games. I'm glad that that's on the list of things that people need to be aware of that's going on the whole month. We need to know that. At a game studio, we need to know that. This isn't an elementary school. This is not a place where you take children. This is not an adventure palace. This is not an after-school program. This is not a PBS-sponsored after-school television program that reminds children not to do drugs. This is a game studio. Once again, we have the normal guy in the room that was just, I want to make games, but I'm told I have to do this, otherwise I'll get fired. So that sucks for him. And of course, they're very proud of themselves. They say it's Game Dev Fashion Week, so we challenge some of our team to showcase how colorful game devs can be. Now that to me says that no, most people at the studio didn't want to participate. Even this guy over here, he seems pretty normal. He's a little overdone with his SpongeBob title background shirt here, but I get it. You know, the other fella's wearing a picnic blanket. But the socks and sandals, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Socks and sandals. Every time. Every time. And he's got his monster socks on, you know? I bet those let him I bet those let him game 5 times faster just because they're monster socks. You should get yourself some monster socks. But again, it gets worse. We're gonna go off again. Here is Pick Poco Official. This is a game dev studio, I believe that's somewhere in Eastern Europe. I'm not entirely sure. Could be here in the USA for all I know. Because we come up with those kooky names for tech companies now. Just randomize a name on ChatGPT and slap that on a business card. And congratulations, you're a game dev studio. But anyway, so this is what these people are up to. And once again, you're seeing a bunch of people who are introverts that are uncomfortable with this process going along with it because it's a team activity and they understand that to be necessary thanks to their education. It all goes back to what happened back in college, back in the Ubisoft boot camps. And again, I can't guarantee you that these people are products of that boot camp, but they are products of the thinking that either is born out of that boot camp or made that boot camp what it is, one or the other. Because you take a look at this, this has nothing to do with making a game whatsoever. It has everything to do with distracting your team from making a game. Again, we're still not done. We're still not done. Rocksteady Studios co-founders to leave the studio at the end of 2022. Rocksteady Studios announced co-founders and studio heads Stefan Hill and Jamie Walker have made the decision to leave the studio at the end of 2022. The two will, quote, begin a new adventure in gaming after they leave. Rocksteady Studios is currently developing Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is scheduled to launch in 2023. The developer previously worked on the Batman Arkham series. Now, why would they do... Oh, that's why they did it. Warner Brothers Games launches new women in non-binary leadership program in order to upend the gaming industry's male-dominated characterization. That's why they let... Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Spencer, for letting us know about this. If you guys want to keep up to date with what's going on with this gaming stuff, check out Bounding Into Comics, the website. You search that on Google, and you'll find us right immediately. But here it is. This is still not the end of the rabbit hole because we're getting even further down into it. You remember the video game for Indiana Jones that precipitated the Dial of Destiny? Well, the studio behind that had this to say. They have Edward Curtis Civez here, and he's the senior narrative designer. And what he has to say about this is, we have the opportunity to tell Indiana Jones to modern audiences. Now, this game came out after Ubisoft's new Bootcamp came out. Are you getting the pattern yet? I cannot guarantee you that Ubisoft has bore all of this stuff that we're seeing coming out now, okay? I can't promise you that. But what I can tell you is that the bootcamp that they've created has either inspired or it's feeding what we're seeing happening with the DEI infestation of the gaming industry the way we saw it infest Hollywood, okay? No more acting camps out in the woods raising up these little Bolshevik actors now. They're going straight into the heart of it. Not only are you getting spoon-fed the DEI lie in college, but you're also getting it when you go into the Ubisoft boot camp that then reinforces that and pairs you with a mentor that drags you into the industry where most of these people are just not prepared to be. They're just... You saw this with the lead designer of Concord. She couldn't handle someone redesigning her character. She had to run into this huge novelette where it wasn't her fault why the character looked the way it did, even though she's the lead designer for 8 years. Do you get the pattern yet? This is the kind of thinking that goes into this boot camp. Does Concord pre-exist it? Does Shadows pre-exist it? Yes. However, that thinking is in that boot camp. The schools of thought that gave us those products, Ubisoft, Star Wars Outlaws 2, not 2, but like as well, that's the school of thought that is in this boot camp. That's what's going to continue churning out the processes that we see give birth to these games that have no audience in the case of Concord and barely an audience in the case of Star Wars Outlaws. Now, again, Ubisoft is hedging their bet on Assassin's Creed Shadows, blowing the doors off of everything else they've done this year. But you and I both know that's not what is going to happen. And so, you know, there is good news. There is good news. We can relax a little bit out there because you have Studio, I forget their name now. This is Team Asobi, excuse me. This is Team Asobi out here celebrating one of the games they released before Astrobot. You got a little Astrobot back there, and they're very excited about the first process of the Astrobot, the first release of it, I guess. And this is before the more recent release, is what I'm trying to stress. Now, this has nothing. Look at this, okay? Look at this. These people are holding up all of their stuff, and they're clearly at a party together, and this is a candid photo. No one is in proper lighting. No one is wearing some goofy this week. On this week, we are doing a dress-up challenge. They are clearly out at a ceremonial Japanese either drinking or eating establishment, and they are all wearing the robes required to be there. In Japan, they have a certain attire when you go to certain high-class restaurants, certain spas, certain places where you're meant to relax. They have attire for you, or you're meant to bring your own. As you can see, every member of the team is wearing some variation of the kimono, male or female style, and they're all relaxing, partying together. Not being put up like circus animals to advertise how colorful and unique the team is. Okay? They're holding up the products of their success as well, not holding up one another saying, ooh, ah, look at us, we're more important than the product that we make. I can't tell you what Runway makes. I can't tell you what Weta Studios is up to other than that Shire game. I can't tell you what that Pickpock, what is. That studio is all about. I tried. All I can find is a bunch of DEI stuff about how great they are at DEI, how excited they are about DEI, and how DEI the DEI is at their DEI game company. That's it. And this is the mind virus that the Ubisoft pipeline to hell is producing. And again, we saw the studios come out and tell us before, you know, we saw the investors rather over at Ubisoft come through, and they told us that they're going to demand that in 60 days they want a complete turnaround of what's going on with Ubisoft's businesses here. But here we go. As you can see right here, as I said, investment firm calls for Ubisoft to be taken private after Star Wars Outlaws tanks the stock. Shareholders are hostages of the Gilman family. Those are the people that own Ubisoft. We saw some of their footprints in the previous writings from the Ubisoft. We're DEIing everything Bootcamp that I told you about. And they say the Gilman family members and Tencent who take advantage of the investors. Now, this is a smaller group, right? And we don't need to get into that. We did a video about that already. If you want to know more about it, this video will link to that video if you want to know more about that, okay? So just wait for the end of the video, and it'll pop up as a recommendation. But what I want to stress is that this AJ Investments has come through and said while they are a minority stockholder within Ubisoft, they have met up with other minority stockholders, and they are going to evoke European trade union law to put the brakes on what Ubisoft has done. They have lost over 50% of their stocks. I believe Spencer included that here in the article. Look at this. As of September 10th, they lost 50% of their stocks in 1 year. 50% of the value gone in 1 year. So this is done. This is over with. And I guarantee you, this boot camp is going to be one of the first things on the chopping block if this AJ Investments gets their way and ends up suing their way into control of Ubisoft. But I'm just telling you, this has been the big, long exposure of this pipeline that brings these people front and center into these game dev teams that you end up with this. You end up with people that are not invested in the product itself, but invested in sending a message through that product. But I don't know, guys. You let me know what you think down in the comments below. And until the next one, good luck out there.